If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine, and maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them, from disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey folks, welcome and good evening. Welcome to another session with me, Kalu Aja, on my money space. Of course, on this space, we're talking money, the economy, finance, right? That's what we do here. We make it personal to you. We want to make you a better investor by giving you all that information, so you can have the tools to better direct your money. That's essentially what we do here every Sunday, 7 p.m. West African time. This week, we're talking stable coins, right? Not just stable coins, but Nigerian stable coins. That's what we're talking this week. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the whole digital space and how that has evolved with the new US administration and what that means for Nigeria. We had a lot of crypto guys here. We're taking it further this week, talk about stable coins and then see what's that all about and why should you be interested in this. So of course, I've got tons of guests that are going to come in and speak here, and I'm going to add them pretty soon so that way they can give us their best, their knowledge. I'm just going to listen and learn. I don't know tons about this space. So the experts are going to be here, going to talk to us. I'm just going to learn and ask questions. And if you guys have questions as well, you can DM or you can request. But there are going to be a lot of guys speaking. So I think DMs might work for you. I'm going to open up my DM so that way you can send me, anyone can send me a DM more or less there. Yeah. Okay, but let me just give you guys the intro on what stable coins is, because lots of people are saying, what is this stable coin thing? Stable coins are money market instruments that are on the quote unquote digital space. You can say a stable coin will be a money market instrument that is digital. So what's a money market instrument? It's any instrument that that has a term below 1 year. When you go to your bank and you do a fixed deposit, say for 1 year, that's money market. Now you can do stable coins for more than 1 year, that's fine. But the concept is the same way you go to your bank and you save money in your bank, in your savings account, in your checking account, in your fixed deposit, in your certificate of deposit. The same way you're doing that, that's what stable coins are. So in a stable coin, you are taking your physical fiat currency, either Naira or dollar or Canadian dollars, and you're converting it to an electronic form. So it's going to be that stable currency, right? And when you then convert it, it's more like the idea is to have it on a one-to-one basis. So you might have one stable coin is $1 US, or one stable coin is 1 Nigerian Naira, but that's the idea, right? So it's the same paper you have in your pocket, but in a digital form. That's where my knowledge stops, guys. So now I have a few guys here. Guys, there's so many of you. If you can request to be added, or I can make Onions Man, should we say a co-host, so you can add them all in here, just so I understand their handles, then that way they can come and speak. So my good friend Onion Man, please request to be, if you can put your hand up, I can make you, let me see, I see you here. Perfect. So I've got Nnamdi. I'm going to add Nnamdi as a speaker, and the other guys can just request a speaker. I've got cNG. Let me see if I can add them also as a speaker as well. Onions Man, I'm going to add you as a speaker and also make you a host, because you know all your folks and you guys are the experts. You can add in your folks. I have tons of questions. I want to know really about this. So once I've got Yo-Yo here, I'm going to add him as well. Thank you so much, guys, for... Yep, just give us a second to add all yours out. So now, Onions Man, I'm going to make you a host. I've sent you an invite, so now you can basically add the other folks that are going to be our speakers, and then we'll just take it from there. But Yo-Yo, let me see. Yo-Yo, before, as we're getting ourselves added, let me just have you on mute, and I got Chima as well. So Chima, I'm adding you as well. There we go. Cloud Engineer Chima. Uyoyo, hi. Do you want to unmute? And I have a question for you.
Yeah, hi, Kalu.
How are you doing? You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Good, sir. No, thank you. No, so I'm Uyoyo. I'm currently serving as the managing director of the entity that sort of issues the cNGN stablecoin, Nigeria's first regulated stablecoin. So very, very happy that you've taken this initiative to really shed more light on this space, and we're happy to contribute in any way we can.
Got you. So just the overview, we've got cNGN. Is that how to say it? Do I say cNGN? Is that how I say it?
Yes. It's basically NGN, but like a C.
With a C. Got you. So cNGN is Nigeria's first regulated stablecoin. So it's pegged 1-to-1 to the Naira. You guys launched this in February of 2025, just last month ago, right? Developed by Warped CBDC Limited in collaboration with fintech partners such as Convexity, Interstellar, Alpha Geekstex. Now, unlike the traditional cryptocurrencies, the cNGN maintains stability as fully backed by Nigerian reserves held in licensed financial institutions. And the most important thing I saw here, it is regulated under the Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission's regulatory incubation program. So number one, you guys have got the reserves to back whatever it's issued on the stablecoin space. And number two, it's also regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So take it from there. Talk to us about why do we need a Nigerian stablecoin? I know we have dollar stablecoins. Why do we need a Nigerian stablecoin?
Yeah, thanks, Carl. Really, everything checks out. So for local stablecoins, right? Specifically for, I think we can start with Web3 crypto users. I'm not sure what the crowd here is.
Just speak English like we don't know anything about crypto.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say this. Stablecoins in general, really like Patrick, the CEO of Stripe, right? I assume many of us here know. Stripe recently acquired Bridge, right? So Bridge is a stablecoin platform, right? So Bridge basically allows you to go from different country stablecoins, right? So you can go from, Nigerian Naira stablecoin to a USD stablecoin to a Kenyan shilling stablecoin, just really going from stablecoin to stablecoin. And Patrick has this quote I love. I'm trying to look for it, but it's basically really just stating the sentiment that stablecoins are going to supercharge payments, right? Stablecoins are really the future of payments, because with stablecoins, you materially improve the flow of capital, right?
What does that mean? What does that mean? Improve the flow of capital.
Yeah, so it basically removes a lot of the friction. So, for example, if I'm an acquirer, so if you have two financial institutions, right? You have an issuer and you have an acquirer, right? So the issuer is basically, think of your bank when you're making payments. Let's say Guaranty Trust Bank, right? Your GT Bank. So you have your bank card as a regular customer of your bank, and then you're making payments to, a third party. So maybe you're paying through an OPay terminal, right? Or you're paying through a MoneyPoint terminal, or even more interesting, you're trying to buy something on AliExpress, right? Or on Amazon, and you're paying for something, in another bank in another country, right? For example.
So normally I would do Naira to dollar paper, then do my dollar paper to go online to GT Bank and transfer that $, i.e. the transfer to the vendor. That's how I would pay normally. I'll go Naira paper, dollar paper, then take my dollar paper to the bank, put it in bank account, then transfer that dollar electronically to pay that vendor in the US. That's what I would do normally.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how will this change now with this cNGN? What changes?
So mostly for the institutions, right, sort of doing those settlements. So typically, when those payments happen, it could take like 3 to 5 days, right, for the actual dollars to land in, with the acquirer, with the merchant you're paying, right? Just because there are all these processes, there's several financial institutions in middle, money has to go really slowly across board. But with stablecoins, for example, it can go from you in Nigeria, right, to your acquirer, basically anywhere in the world, to your merchant, and they are settled instantly for, almost zero fees, basically. So instead of having to pay, 5,000 naira for a transaction or 1,500 for a transaction or whatever, they are basically settled near instantly, and there's finality. So what that means is in real time, that value is moving from you to the end recipient in real time.
Instantly.
So it really changes a lot.
Okay, the question I'm already getting now is this. If I'm paying the guy in the US, am I paying him naira or dollar? So I know we have a few other guys here. What am I paying him? So I'm taking in naira normally I do naira, dollar, then electronic dollar, then pay him. With this, am I paying him naira or dollar?
You're paying him naira. So what this really does in that is it enhances the flow for the financial institutions involved, right? So it kind of makes it easier for them to settle their own liabilities internationally. That's what this really improves.
Okay, so I've got Chima here, right? And I had a question for Chima. Chima is more in... Chima, hi, how you doing?
Yeah, hi, Chima.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, Chima. Yeah, hi, great. So I wanted to get your insight in terms of just the structure, the technical side of it, right? I'm not sure if you can speak on that. I see SEC regulation, or is that you? For me, I'm a guy in Alaba, and I buy goods from Onitsha. I sell in Lagos. How does this work for me?
Okay. So say it this way. We have a rail, that's the blockchain rail actually, that does the payments. So you have your cNGN. It makes it easier for you to do settlement. So say your supplier is kind of like accepting digital currencies as well. Let's say USDT or USDC. Now, in doing that, you need to go through a merchant, let's say, for example, now Quidax or Busha or even some of the DEX. I know some merchants are actually creating a pair, cNGN, USDT, USDC, and all that. Now you go through them, you have your cNGN, right? And then you make, you get USDT or USDC with that instantly.
Oh.
And then you do the settlement. That's one way. Then another way is there are some innovative solutions that are currently being tested by some solution providers now that they create a rail whereby you don't even need to go look for where to do to even switch cNGN to USDT or USDC. You just simply go there, make your payment, and then they do the whole switching and settlement for you with the merchant or the supplier that you want to do in USDT or USDC real time.
If I'm hearing you correctly, right? So if I'm a guy in Alaba and I want to import maybe compressors from China, I will simply get take my raw naira from my bank in Nigeria because it's regulated. So I debit my Nigerian bank and I buy cNGN. That takes me digital. Then I then go from cNGN and I buy dollar or yuan or whatever it is I want to trade. I buy it digitally online as well, right?
Yeah, so that would be equivalent of their own stablecoin, right?
Oh.
So you have a Unboxed stablecoin. You have others that are also coming up. So it's just you trading digitally without going to look for hard-earned dollar or foreign currencies to trade.
So am I doing it's only stable to stable, or I can go from cNGN to say Bitcoin or any other? Does it have to be a stable coin per se? Because this is money market. Do you get my question?
Yeah. So that is not for us to control, right? It's now for people that are the market makers or those that are actually that have platforms. Will do those pairing.
Gotcha.
Pair with cNGN to UTC and all that. Yeah. Ours is just to issue, and then we have those that are the solution providers to do all that, which is possible.
Okay, hang on there. Let me get Victor into this discussion. Victor, in terms of Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, these are all the places where Nigerians are doing a lot of trading. If you look at the Nigerian West African sub-region, Nigerians are doing a lot of trade in Togo, Benin, Ghana, Ivory Coast. We use CFA, we use Naira, we use dollar. In terms of just the African strategy, we have Nigerian banks already in all these countries. We do commerce already in all these countries. There's already talk of a West African currency, not digital, in West Africa. Just lay for me out how this helps Nigeria or Africa in terms of trade. That we have the African Continental Free Trade. Does this plug in? Does it enhance it? How?
Okay, thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, Carl. It's a pleasure to meet you, my brother. And that's a very good question. So, today, the cNGN, like Shima just finished mentioning, is more or less a digital representation of the Nigerian Naira. And the fact that we are now going beyond just Nigeria with what the African Free Trade Zone started, led by the team by Wamkele. We are also working very closely with Afrexim Bank. Working very closely with PAPS.
What is PAPS?
PAPS, in short, is the Pan-African Payment Settlement System in full.
Okay.
If you all probably look at your, what's it called now? You look at the internet or around, you probably might be seeing flickers of things called the PAPS African Currency Marketplace. And just to add, the African Currency Marketplace started a pilot with those three countries you mentioned: Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and even Cameroon. We have started doing pilot. We started the pilot sometime last year, fully in August 2024, and it's about to fully go live. The announcement has gone out from the CEO of PAPS as well. Now, let's bring it home, sir. When we do those transactions today, we actually have the corporates like, for example, let's just say Dangote, let's say Kenya Airways, deposit funds into a normal commercial bank. Like you also know, there are banks in all these places. But when it's deposited, there is a representation one-to-one of it in the platform that was built by us. And then this automatically, as you will agree with me, a stablecoin like Uyoyo just mentioned is a simple reserve mirroring a fiat currency somewhere, and using APIs in a programmatic way tracks that reserve, right? And it can move and do a lot of various things. That is what today has been piloted at PAPS. However, this was piloted just in readiness again for what we have already started doing and building at Rapsi BDC. And we've been testing this to see. And the fact that we now have the cNGN now, sorry for the noise in the background, please. The fact that we have a cNGN now, we are about to now also plug that in at a public layer. Now, what does that do, or what does that help? And I will give a very live example. Today, sir, Kenya Airways is able to move ticket sales from Nigeria and repatriate it back to Kenya in a matter of probably just 10 minutes, sir.
Interesting.
Now, before now, they have had massive issues like they sell tickets in Nigerian Naira or Cameroonian ZAF or Malawian Kwacha. And unfortunately, they are not able to repatriate this in record time. And you know what that means? What that means, Carlo, is that they need to go to a central bank, try and get US dollar, right? So that they can repatriate it. Because usually, like you will agree with me, moving local currencies is not that easy from one country, right? Within Africa. You need some intervention, right? Which most of the time might be SWIFT, or you just get to talk to the central bank. Usually, sir, countries like, say, Nigeria and other African countries with the volatility of their currencies would now, most of the time, just get only maybe out of, say, they have probably, hypothetically now, maybe they have like, say, $500,000 sales of tickets. What the central bank will always give, because there's the BDCs they have to give, there's the banks that want PTA and BTA, right? So before they get to a Kenya Airways, they might just give them like, say, $10,000 or at most $20,000. That doesn't mean they can clear their backlog. In the process of doing that, it takes time before they are able to move all that funds. Volatility hits them. So you see a situation where a 500,000 now becomes eventually maybe 200,000. This is a clear case and a clear problem. But today, sir, I know that we tested something in January this year. They sold some tickets. These days, if they sell tickets, in a few minutes they have it back in Kenya.
Okay, but question for you, sir.
Yes,
don't want to interrupt you. Are they remitting Naira or dollars? So what's Kenya Airways taking out?
Kenya Airways takes out the Naira.
Oh.
And it's Naira they take out, sir. There is no dollar involvement in everything we are saying, sir, here. And which is record one for us in Africa. Record because at the end of the day, African currencies have more mobility. Like what we say, the stable coins within Africa will make African currencies now have, we call them currencies on steroids. Now, take note, sir. Like somebody was asking me some few days ago that if I was in Kenya or in Nigeria and I make a payment into a wallet system with the stable coin, at the other end, will I receive, or in the other country, will I receive the currency I initiated it from? Say I was from Nigeria and I'm giving it to somebody in Kenya. Will they receive Nigerian Naira, or will they receive the Kenyan shillings in stable coin? If there is a stable coin in Kenya, which we are almost, also RAPSI BDC, almost done with the approvals, they will receive it in Kenyan shillings because it's stable coin. And if you're in the US, if we have like a settlement or a payout partner, it makes it easier for them to also receive it in a stable coin of US dollar. And at most, also, if they are payout partners, they can also off-ramp for them in normal fiat if they choose to do so. But what makes it unique, Carlo, is this. What makes it unique is the fact that I do not have to go through traditional banking per se. I'm using a wallet system that is still approved and supervised by the bank in a regulatory fashion. That is what makes cNGN unique. It is regulated, monitored, and compliant. So we are still doing all the rules that a bank would want, but we are only following an approach that is much more efficient and much more effective for the financial ecosystem.
So in essence, right, let's always use the example of what's happening today and then what you guys want to change. So today, Kenya Airways is remitting in foreign currency because they need dollars. They don't use Naira in Kenya. That's what we have. But what you're saying is that what you're saying that with this, Kenya Airways can remit Naira or hold that Naira in stable coins. It's instantaneous. It gives them value, and they can use that same stable coins to say buy fuel at the airport for their planes that land in Lagos. Am I getting it right? Without them going to the dollar, we don't have to request for dollar from the CBN and all that. Is that what we're saying?
Spot on. Correct. That's what we're saying, sir. Yes.
Got you. I'm learning this stuff. Let me talk to Victor Olorunfemi. Victor, just in terms of give me another example how I can use this. Nigerians, the greatest use for dollar is to pay school fees abroad, right? I know school fees is not Naira, but just to give me my mind is still going to his Naira thing. How else can the guy listening to this space that has a shop or has a school? Again, I think what I'm asking is, why do we need a stable coin in Naira? Because is the Naira itself stable? What does this do? Can you balance that conflicting tone where the Naira is not stable, have a stable coin? Can you help me out with that, Victor?
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Awesome, cool. It's a pleasure to be here, Kalu. Why do we need a stable coin? I think my colleagues already discussed some of the use cases. But something else that we should consider when we're talking stable coins is there's so many phrases that would explain what a stable coin is, but think about programmable money, right? Someone had said currency on steroids. That is also, a very close description of what stable coins are. Your money is no longer, limited, so to speak. And I'm going to present a few use cases. Let's start with remittances. And again, by the way, just know that what we've just done is provided infrastructure, and creative people are able to build innovative solutions, just like they've done for other, popular stable coins in other parts of the world. But before I mention use cases, you said something about Naira not being stable. It's called a stable coin simply because it's not as volatile as the other, cryptos, right? But it's only stable relative to its currency. If something happens, if a black swan event happens to the USD, which probably is maybe something that we might not expect to happen, then the USDTs and USDCs are only stable relative to the stability of the USD as well. So it's the same thing with Naira. But cNGN's selling point is not necessarily, trying to compete with the USD, but trying to activate what the Naira is able to do in a digital economy. Today, someone in the US or Denmark or Scandinavia can literally acquire cNGN from, decentralized marketplaces directly and send it back home directly. And someone at home can decide to convert that into Naira. And as the ecosystem, grows bigger, and we have interesting people coming to build things here, you might not even need to convert back into fiat because you may be able to spend it. And what you wonder, why do you want to spend fiat, stable coin when you can spend your fiat? But imagine that you could provide payments per minute. You probably couldn't do this, with the Naira when you consider, banking fees and things like that. You can now, with the power of stablecoins program, payments to happen per minute. So maybe someone is streaming your song, maybe you're a musician, for example. You can charge them per second. Do you get what I mean? So those are some of the possibilities that people can build with the power, with the technology, of stable coins. Yeah. Maybe I should just stop there.
No, fantastic. Let me ask you a question. So when we did the Naira changeover, when we changed Naira, we went from when Buhari was leaving and we tried to change to go to a digital, we held the Naira down. I don't know what the name to use for it, the Naira color change. If we had this back then, right, would this have helped? Because I think at that point, the banks were overwhelmed, transfers were not working, the infrastructure could not take the huge volume. Would this have helped in any way? Does this help in any way?
I'll tell you for free. The very short answer is yes.
Yes.
Those who are Web3 natives here, they know the ease at which you can send assets from one part of the world to the other. So the short and simple answer is yes. And think about it, no delays, no bank delays, nothing gets stuck. You're not worrying about crazy fees. So you're not even, you remember that period, what was happening now. People were, fueling station attendants were colluding with POS merchants, and people were literally selling the Naira, at a premium. Such a thing would not have happened because we just, and think about it, a lot of people now have to switch to doing transfers. But this was already like a low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
Where you can send 1 naira, you can send 2 naira.
Okay.
And not get charged 5 naira as a fee. Do you get what I mean? You know, so this would have been a perfect solution.
I like what you just said.
Had it in place.
Can you explain?
Then,
can you explain that? I can send 1 naira and not get charged a fee. Can you expatiate on that, please? And I have a last question. Lots of folks want to ask a question. I'm going to add them very soon. But so I can send 1 naira. What does that mean?
Yeah, I can send you 1 cNGN. You know, we said we already established it's backed 1-to-1. You know. So I can literally send you, Kalu. If I wanted to send you 1 naira on a regular bank, maybe with the exception of some of the banks who use maybe marketing money to sort of do some soft landing, you know, for lower fees, etc. If I wanted to send you, you know, money with a regular big banks, there's a transaction fee involved, right? But if I wanted to send you a stable coin, let's say 5 naira, for example. It will cost me a fraction, especially maybe on some blockchains like Bantu, for example. It will cost you like a fraction of a naira. It's almost negligible. So that's why I said without transaction fees, like you don't even know that anything has happened. So what is the value of a fraction of a naira? Those things are just happening on chain, ensuring that the value can move from one person to the other without without any doubts. You know, when you see things that happen with bank when you send money and maybe I'll give you an example. I ordered something on one of the food vendors, you know, back in Nigeria, and the food did not arrive. My money did not come back to me, and I kept following back over a year. In fact, at some point, it just became cruise. Like, I just tell them, oh, you people promised next week. It's now 6 months. And that kept going till I eventually forgot about it. If we had an ecosystem that already leverages stable coins like this, it would be instantaneous refund. It would be do you get what I mean? It's just a matter of, okay, release it back to the owner, and it just goes back. No issues, none of that stuff. Instantaneous. You cannot even argue and say the money is not in my account, because the power of stable coins is we can tell where the money is at every point in time. So there's nothing like it has not hit my account. We can see that it has hit the account, and it has hit it instantaneously. You know, so I'll just keep quiet here so that.
Okay, I get you. I mean, let me ask. We have about 5 guys on the space. They have questions. Let's take their questions. We'll come back to my. I want to really talk about the regulatory space again. Your SEC relationship, but let me get Stock Bubbles in here. We've got Stock Bubbles, Mohammed, we've got Funshaw, Michael, and James. So Stock Bubbles, please go ahead with your question. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very fine. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can. If you speak up, that would be perfect. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the cNGN guys are doing a very great job. But I wanted to ask about the capital markets angle now. Maybe I'm jumping the gun. I actually got a little bit late, but maybe this has been discussed previously. But just to recap, if it has, for my sake, please.
No, it hasn't. That's a fantastic question. So, I mean, how does this plug into if I want to buy shares and all that? If I'm in New York and I want to invest I mean, I don't know who wants to take the question, right? How does this plug in? We know how we can buy from the market, but is it really SEC is involved? So clearly there has to be a leg in the stock and capital market space, right? So whoever wants to take that answer, please.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think I can come in here.
Is that Deji?
This is Deji, yes.
Deji, before you go,
regulation.
Yes, yeah, good, Deji. I was going to ask you a question, and you can use my question to basically give your answer as well. Just give us maybe the lay of the land, how you guys got this SEC to more or less give us that SEC relationship, right? I don't use words that are not from your term. Give us the SEC relationship. Define to us how you are different from the bank relationship. Banks, I'm not sure they are still doing crypto for now. I'm not sure. But you guys are SEC. Explain that relationship to us. Then if you can please answer the question about the capital market space, that would be wonderful. Did you go ahead, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Kalu. So, stablecoin is a highly regulated an instrument, and is an innovation, but it's completely regulated in most countries. Yes, other people play with it without relevant regulation. We chose to do otherwise. we chose to actually make sure that we follow through the regulatory requirements. And Kalu, this idea and this whole innovation started since 2021. And that's to tell you that it's been a long journey coming. And the simple reason why we're following that trajectory is because we're somehow within the consortium that form and the company that is issuing cNGN, we are very strong around crypto compliance, crypto risks mitigation, and all those issues. And we also therefore felt we cannot take any step without getting the regulators' nod for them to understand it. So our journey started actually with the central bank. And we went through different rigors. Since 2021, we're doing education upon education. We're sharing notes. We're being asked questions on how this will impact. And we're still doing that currently. The monetary policy, how is it going to affect the current activities within the country and all that. And then comes INERA in 2021. So when INERA came, we also felt, okay, I think the country is speaking digitally like we're trying to push. But the only difference here that we saw, because again, we are more of technology entrepreneurs, we're blockchain enthusiasts, we're building things around Web3, which is blockchain enabled. And we believe that, okay, as great as the INERA is, our own is a bit different. So we're speaking to different audience, but we can complement each other. And so for INERA is to make settlements, to make payments easily within Nigeria and make it fluid based on what they planned at the central bank. And we said, okay, I think it is great. We are doing ours. Ours is just a regulated stablecoin, but we are going to be on public blockchain. So today, for example, we are on Asset Chain, we are on Bantu blockchain, we are on Polygon, we are on and Base Network. So all these we are on Ethereum. These are all public blockchain. So a way to distinguish the two, because again, I've seen a lot of questions saying, oh, this is another version of INERA. And I say, look, they don't have any similarity. They dwell in the different ecosystem where they can complement each other. So, and in giving that example, I will take you back to those days where when you're working, you possibly in your corporate company, wherever it is, you are not allowed to touch the internet. For some of us that are old enough, those days, you only work within the intranet of the company that's set up. By any chance you go touch the internet, you could be sacked, could be queried, because they don't believe that the internet is what is good for any corporate information to go on the internet and is public. And I think we're back to that cycle. And that is why we're getting a lot of central bank rolling out what they call the CBDC, central bank digital currencies, to make sure that, hey, don't touch this public blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all those ones, because we don't know what happens there. We don't want people's information and everything to be on chain and all that, all those issues. So we rather would do what we call a private permission blockchain, which I may make to say is like intranet of those days. So what it means is that the general public cannot interact with it, the crypto natives, the cryptocurrency enthusiasts, the people that are trading will not be able to interact with those CBDC because it is only known, issued, and controlled by the central bank. And so we think if we have a handshake, so we can use the INERA to back the issuance of our stablecoin that will go public. So it's this complementary relationship. As this grows, the INERA will grow. And that's where we were at that time. But now that the INERA actually is a bit slow, and we're a private company, we moved on with our innovation. But albeit, we need to carry them along. And of course, we carried them along and everything. And we had this understanding to say, we think the country should allow the banks to actually interact with digital assets because that is where we are headed. So if you take, for example, now, a US-backed stablecoin has been there since more than 10 years now. And so they've learned, they've done a lot of activities, they've done some mistakes, they've learned, they've captured, they've also been very successful in dollarizing the global economy furthermore in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. But what the African regulators have done is to shut us around, stopping us from that race, right? So it is a race, and imagine all of us globally, we are on the mark, on your mark set, and then they blew the whistle, and everybody went off, and the African regulator held the leg of every other person on that race. And we're still here. 10 years after, we're the first, maybe, if I'm not mistaken, that is rolling out a national stablecoin. So central banks say, hey, okay, we think it's okay, we think it makes sense, but we will refer you to SEC. And that's after 3 years journey. Last year, they refer us to SEC to say, go to SEC and continue your journey. But we understand and we will be working with you to see what happens. And went to SEC. And SEC also, of course, looked at it. We defended what we're trying to do. And stablecoin have different features depending on the use cases. And I like the question that was asked about how do you see the interplay in a capital market, for example. So in capital market, if money is digital, it will make settlement very fluid, and it will open up the capital market to everybody outside Nigeria. So today I can't buy any shares. I need a broker in between, and the broker will ask you if you have a bank account, you have to transfer the money to him. You cannot just buy shares. But today on different global platforms, with the digital currency, with the US dollar digital currency, you could buy shares of different companies in the US. So we believe that is going to be a kind of a step. We will get there. I think we will get there where we're starting off with just trading on digital asset exchanges license in Nigeria. So meaning what we're trying to change there is that you should be able to buy your Bitcoin, buy your Ethereum without necessarily touching any dollar if you have a Naira, because you have a cNGN. So it's going to be cNGN peer to Bitcoin, cNGN peer to Ethereum, cNGN peer to Polygon, all those issues to your Matic and all that. So you could be able to completely just transact on those things with your Naira. So if you may, what we're doing is Naira globalize. Your Naira becoming global. So I can be in Pakistan, for example. I can be in Canada, and I have Naira in my wallet, and can still do exactly what I will be able to do with Naira in Nigeria. So and those are the things. And there are different use cases that my colleague has spoken on different use cases. So imagine people doing international trade, business to business payment, and treasury management properly, which I believe Victor spoke to, with a lot of big conglomerates and corporates able to repatriate their funds, and it's difficult. So you could use those digital Naira to handshake whichever other stablecoin is that we have elsewhere, and that those issues can be very similar. So there are a lot of use cases, and there's a lot of efficiency that is brought in. There's a lot of complexity that is involved with this current system are going to be a thing of the past if this is completely
But just to be direct, right? So if I want to buy shares today, right? Again, what I do is I take my Naira, either I write a check or I transfer money to the stockbroker. So is there going to be a way that I can do this by just getting money in stable coins and paying the broker? Is SEC involved in this in any way?
Yes. So Carlos, so this is it. So we're talking two different rails. So what we are having now is a new rail, a new technology that will power the next generation of payments and finance, which is the blockchain. So what we have today is the traditional rail of the normal banking SWIFT system that has been there donkey years, right? So it's not going to be a complete shift. So one thing we have to be able to see, which I think the stock market is talking about, it is to digitize that. So you don't need you digitize all the stock market and make sure that all shares are digitized. If you may, maybe I use the word in the blockchain, it's tokenized. So you have tokenized shares. So when those whole things are tokenized and you have a digital stock market trading platforms, then digital currency is naturally the money that have to play that role, and not the normal traditional fiat, if you get that.
Gotcha. Stock bubbles, did I answer your question, or you have a follow-up? Stock bubble? Okay.
Well, from what I understand, I think it's ongoing. So there's no structure yet on that part. I was thinking it would be like a payment option that will just enable, buying shares and engaging with capital markets in general, having this in mind. But from what I understand, I think it's saying that cNGN helps to deepen financial inclusion, and it leans towards the crypto savvy crowd. If I understand it, that's the current state for now. Am I correct?
what I'm hearing him say is that for now, that's where they are for now. But they've got this SEC is behind them, if you want to say it that way. And for now, they are starting like this, and hopefully they can expand and get more adoption. That's what I hear him saying. Which for now, I will take that from him. Mohammed, hi, Mohammed Okoye, you've got the floor, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. So the questions sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
I will just phrase my questions. I'll just phrase them in form of statements, so you know, or the speakers would know where I stand. So I'm just, they're like 5 in number.
5 is a lot, man. Maybe you can do 2 so they can follow and catch up. Yeah.
Okay, can I just make it 3?
Go for it.
Thank you. We've seen similar endeavors, with although the last speaker kind of like explained why, they're not exactly the same thing and they could be complementary. But if that didn't fly, are you saying that the tech has changed so much and and cNGN won't suffer the same fate? That's the first one. Second one, if what happens to the Naira, because except you're going to peg cNGN, what happens to the Naira against the dollar in terms of value or exchange rate, if you will, happens to cNGN, then it goes to, doesn't that follow that only full adaptation, but locally and internationally, can make the coin fly? And if so, how can these be achieved? Then about the transaction fees, no one transfers one to anyone. People hardly even transfer 1K these days. And the larger the amount, the more negligible charge will be. And banks have an edge in the sense that they have customer relations. How can the cNGN, penetrate this? Except you're going to have a scenario where you can see Access Bank issuing LCs, and maybe issuing trade finance loans or whatever, and the rates they're using is cNGN rates, and basically it's benchmark in cNGN, and you have Fidelity Bank giving SME loans in cNGN. So are you saying this is a possibility, this level of penetration? That's the third question. Thank you.
Those are great questions. Yeah. Again, who wants to take it up? I mean, he asked the 1 Naira transfer, the efficiency of the whole system. Who wants to take it up? If you guys can break it up, that's fine. But those are great questions.
Hey, Tanu, are you able to do like a recap? Because I don't know, maybe it's just from my end. I couldn't really hear anything. It was the voice was clipping. So if you're able to help, so a recap, that would really be nice. I can hear you very well.
I heard him ask number 1 about the 1 Naira transfer. I'm very curious about that. He said that no one transfers 1 Naira because I think the fees also catch up. Then he talked about the stability, i.e. it's 1 for 1. If Naira is not stable, the same question I asked, then what happens to the other leg, because it's 2 legs. Then the third question was, Mohammed, you want to go over it again? Your audio was a bit breaky as well.
Okay. Hope is better now.
Yeah, go for it.
The first one is like I said, we've seen similar endeavors like with the eNaira, and although the last speaker explained why they're not the same, the question now is, has the tech changed that much, that we are certain that it won't suffer the same fate? That's the first question.
Okay.
The second question is, if what happens the Naira happens to that stability issue happens to cNGN, then obviously only a full adaptation, locally and internationally would basically lead to the success of the scheme. Else, why wouldn't traders just rely back on the Naira? And the third question is about the transaction fees and all. Someone said, if you can transfer as low as 1 Naira and not get charged. But no one transfers 1 Naira, and the higher the transfer, the more negligible charge. and in this regard, banks have or seem to have an edge in the way of customer relations. So can cNGN change this in terms that you see Access Bank, giving loans to their customers in cNGN and quoting, LC fees in cNGN as opposed to the Naira? Is that level of penetration in the financial sector possible, in addition to stocks being priced in cNGN? Thank you.
All right. Did you get that?
Hope that was.
Unfortunately,
okay. So the first
I think they can take a stab at it.
Yeah. So I think I got some. So I'll go with the tech. So there's this difference between private blockchain. I think it's education, and we're just starting off, and I think with time we all will get it. So there's difference between what we call a private blockchain and a public blockchain. So a private blockchain is a blockchain that is controlled by an entity. They all see it themselves and they control it themselves. And so again, depending on the crypto natives, they seem not to trust it that much because they want to see what public blockchain offers is that openness, that transparency, people's ability to actually see transactions as they are happening. So there's no similarity, like I said, between they're actually completely different. So one, the difference here is the issuer one is by the central bank, the other one is by private company. Secondly, the technology that backs it are not the same thing. One is public, it's a private blockchain. One is public that have a lot of developers on it contributing to its robustness and all that. So coming to technology, like you asked whether the technology is different, yes, it is different. And will it suffer the same fate? The promoters are completely different depending on the trust and how we are able to push. So it's part of this to make sure that people just understand what we're doing. I think Victor was trying to talk about people can easily transfer 1 Naira, not in that context, in the context that you can actually do transfer with completely low or negligible fee, at the end of the day. So that's what just trying to explain why talking 1 Naira. It's not literally saying people will transfer 1 Naira. Can bank actually use it to deepen maybe their loans and whatever? So today we have the equivalence of banks on chain, and they are called decentralized finance. And so for people that are crypto natives, that people that understand crypto properly, we hardly go to bank to borrow money. They'll actually go to decentralized finance platform to borrow their money. So banks will come there, and the money to use there is not the Naira, it's not the banks, it's not the units, the M2 money. Is actually the cryptocurrencies, and the only Naira that will be residing in that rail is going to be cNGN for now. And so that's what we're saying is complementary. Depending as the time and space evolves, we'll see a lot of these activities getting official moment.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Questions. Thank you.
That's a fantastic answer. Let me get Michael. Michael, I have you in here. Once you ask, I'll just drop you so I can add others, folks. Michael, you're there. Then, of course, we'll come back. I do have a question for Michael. Go for it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay. I have some questions and some remarks to make. I'll start with the remarks and I'll move on to the questions. So just to buttress on what the other speaker was saying earlier when he talked about being programmable, is that the CNG, I don't know, but generally when the blockchain token is programmable, that it can be used across the applications. So we have people building 5 games.
Michael, your audio has a break in that. Can you fix the audio real quick?
Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So when he was talking about being programmable, the CNG and being programmable is that it can be used across DeFi protocols, blockchain protocols. In that, for example, I'm creating a blockchain game, and maybe in the game you earn currency for performing certain actions or you earn rewards. I can use the cNGN in that regard and also use it across, what the other speaker said just now about having banks on chain, something like that, decentralized application. So you can use it freely. You don't need to take permission from anyone. So you can use it permissionlessly if you are building whatever you're building. So that's just that. But my questions, I'll start with this first. I'll just ask them step by step. First of all, how does the company behind cNGN make money? Is it the same way as Tether? Tether, they hold US Treasury notes and they earn interest from that. Why? Secondly, I'm considering the viability of cNGN in the sense that we have seen stable coins like EuroSeat, like a stable coin of for the euro. It really hasn't gained any traction. The only dominant stable coins in the space today are majorly USD dominated, and we know it's because the US dollar is like the world's most popular currency and people prefer it for usage. So I think adoption may also be a problem, because majorly the reason the USDT is really successful is because it's used majorly in DeFi. People trust the USDT's resilience. Like me, for example, I don't trust the Naira's resilience. If I'm even moving my assets from Bitcoin to, let's say, the stablecoin app, I may not want to use the Naira because I don't trust the Nigerian Naira, right? I trust USDT to an extent rather than above every other currency. So I would naturally want to move my assets
Okay, but let me ask you a question. I'm not a crypto guy, right? But we don't spend dollar in Nigeria. So if I want to pay, I sell a book in Nigeria. The book is sold in Naira. No, that is not sold in dollars. So if I was going to buy my book in Nigeria, do I care if the dollar or Naira is strong? What I want to get is the book, and I want to pay, and I have Naira. So usually I would do Naira to a digital, maybe dollar, like you said, or dollar paper. These guys are saying that I can simply do Naira, digital Naira, and buy the book. Is that not what I want? Just the book. I can pay NEPA bill in Naira. I can transfer money to someone to enter Okada and come and see me in Naira. Does stability matter? If it's dollar, we know dollar is stronger. We know euro is stronger. But the efficiency argument does also play, doesn't it?
Yeah, but my main point is, like, if I'm someone in Nigeria, right? I really don't want to use the NG. I can just use for example, I'm not a crypto native person, right? I would prefer using my Naira than go through the whole stress of, trying to get education and how to use a crypto product, for example, when I can easily use my Naira. And I'm even coming on the fees side, because when you said the fees are negligible, I think it's from a dollar perspective. If I'm spending like $10,000, I'm transferring $10,000 naturally on popular blockchain network, which charge me like $1, and that's negligible. But for the average Nigerian user, that the fee may be $0.05. But if you multiply that with the price of dollar right now, that's about 100 naira approximately, or thereabout. So imagine I want to spend something like 2,000 naira, and I'm paying fees of 100 naira when my bank will charge me like 20 naira or 30 naira. So I think the fee side will be largely beneficial for users who are spending millions, because the fees are quite a bit constant. So I think for the Nigerian user side, I think there's still issues. Okay. Except I'm somewhere abroad and I want to, purchase things in Nigeria. Okay. It can help me in that regard. But in terms of traction, I don't know if it can gain traction in globally, because major traction.
Let them answer the question, Michael. So I think your point is valid. So let me hop in. Who? Deji, Chima, you're all
Michael. Yeah. Let me just quickly go in. So Michael, so two things, and thank you for your questions. And I think you are fixated on the fact that maybe you're used to Tron. We have local blockchain ecosystem. So we're talking like Africa now, for example. We have asset chain. We have Bantu blockchain. We put our fees, because we are using the white guys, innovation to define everything. We are changing the status quo, and we need to work to change the status quo. So we have blockchains that are completely robust. So you check a Bantu blockchain, of course, they are not as popular as the ones but we are thinking they are moving rails. We have the asset chain network that is also a layer 2 of Ethereum that and it's by Nigerians. The innovators are Nigerians. The creators are Nigerians. And those people, the fees you're talking is actually completely negligible on those on those blockchains. And so that possibly will answer that. Secondly, you trust dollar, no problem. Is general thing, but we just are saying that we have Naira, globalized. So if you have your Naira now, if you just take, for example, a card. Let's say you are in Nigeria, you have a card, and you have maybe a VAV card, and you want to travel to maybe say Italy or anywhere. The moment you step out, no matter how rich you are in Nigeria, in Naira, you discover that you're just cut off from global finance. And what we're trying to say, no, this cannot happen. If you have a USDT like the one you trust, and the USDT that you trust, is it a sin to have a handshake with the digital Naira to enable orchestration of these payments globally? So that your Naira can be more valuable than being locked up in your pocket or in your bank when you are out of Nigeria. And those are the things we're talking. We are actually not comparing. Of course, it will be somebody that is not thinking right now begin to compare Naira, a Lira, or a Brazilian money with US dollar. They have mastered the game for a long time. So there's no issue of comparing. No, it's dollar, I trust dollar, it's higher. So there's another thing happening quietly, and that is why it's great that we're on this call. So the dollar stablecoin just decided, and they saw themselves being isolated from global trades. So people are using it, people are holding it, but they now see that there's a need completely now for the dollar stablecoin to have a handshake with different local stablecoin issued in different countries. Because the last mile is always a headache for the dollar transactions. And so now they are in bed with everybody issuing local currency stablecoin. So that idea that, dollar is the global one that is dominating, yes, but the narrative is changing with local stablecoin. So Lira has come up. If you are checking the Twitter of the CEO of Coinbase, he listed, they say, we're glad now that on Base, some local stablecoins are coming. And the reason why he's praising that is not because he thinks their own is powerful, is to make sure that they're able to do a kind of a handshake to do last mile settlement across countries to the bank accounts. And so that they are happy. There's the Lira one, they're happy. Brazil has come up, they're happy. The cNGN from Nigeria is on the rail. And what it's doing is that we are now Naira on steroid, Naira globalized, Naira on the international rail on the blockchain. They can do whatever other digital money can do. So it's not competition really.
So it's more of efficiency, not competition. All right, I got you. Okay, let's get everything Satoshi, everything Sats. Everything, go ahead. I need to just add more people. So I apologize if you've spoken. I'm just going to drop you. Lots of folks want to have a sense. So I got everything Sats, and I'll do the crypto, and let's go for it. Michael, thanks so much for your question. Everything, go ahead.
Hi guys. For me, everything is breaking here.
Could you, Michael? The audio is not that loud. If you could just speak up everything, please.
Can you hear me? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The app is buggy for me. Am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead. Yes.
All right, awesome. So for me, this is quite an interesting time in the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin / stablecoin space. That we are sort of having these types of conversations as to how to move value within the space and do so in a regulated manner. However, I have some very, very important questions because there are some things that, while I understand the need for promoting this space, do not factually tally with the technicals of how the technology actually works, right? I understand everybody is trying to do their own thing, but I wouldn't really devolve into that because of time, and I'll just keep it short and ask my very few questions. Hopefully I get adequate answers. So there are some Nigerians who want to move value in a discrete manner because they fear that the normal banking system does not respect financial privacy, and it can be debunked for arbitrary reasons, maybe going to the wrong protest and whatnot. Does this same system give that same sort of leeway to the issuers of this token? Should people be worried that this might just be another surveillance tool by the government to punish people or confiscate people's savings? Can people be comfortable in saving in the cNGN?
Okay, I think that's a fantastic question. That's a fantastic question. I mean, because I know why that's a fantastic question, again, because it's all over again on my DM. So let's someone answer that. Everything, I appreciate that question. Very, very valid. So who wants to take that up? Can we trust this? If we use this, our name's going to be taken down somewhere. Can someone come tomorrow and send folks after us? Who wants to take it on?
Let me speak last, and then my colleagues, I yield the mic. So, it's just, and I think that's the distinction that I did earlier. To say one is built by government, and again, most of the concern globally when the CBDC came out is actually the surveillance, like the speaker mentioned. And so what we build is on public blockchain. So today, if you have, I have cNGN in my MetaMask, for example, today. MetaMask, like you know, is your wallet, is decentralized. I have cNGN on my Trust wallet, for example. And like you know, it's also completely under your control. So it is decentralized, meaning you control your money. So that is what one thing cNGN on public blockchain does for you. So if it's your money, it's your money, except if there are criminality, involved. If you say, maybe for example, you stole that cNGN from somebody, of course, they will be able to, because it's on a public blockchain, we should be able to follow it. Different companies globally, are there, the likes of chain analysis companies, and all those issues will be able to track down. Even the hackers that stole 1.5 billion were able to track down. The only thing is that you don't know who is behind it, but whenever they spend it in a very compliant manner, you should be able to know who did that. But aside that, I think your money is your money. Nobody can debank you. You are actually your own bank. If you are in those wallets, you have this money in those your wallet, you are on your own bank, coming with the attendant risks of you managing your private key yourself. And so it's as good as you are having Bitcoin in your wallet, in my view.
Okay. Is that the final answer on that? I like the answer. Just asking that's the final answer before we move on to the next question. And guys, okay, let's get the crypto. We've got the crypto preacher, then I'll get Lola in here. So crypto preacher, I have you, and also Funsha that had dropped off. Crypto preacher, you've got the floor. Ask your question. We've got a full branch. And again, lots of folks here have different, they're answering different spaces or different themes of this. But go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you very much, Kalu, for the opportunity to speak. Also, a very big thanks to you guys behind the cNGN team and the rest of the crew right here on this space. So my question is, considering the fact that over this particular period of time, let's say 2021 down to now, with all of the front and back and all of the name calling of this industry, and with a couple of things that have happened in the past regarding the e-Naira thing, I figured out, because I posted a couple of materials about cNGN in one of my social media platforms, and the backlash is somewhat looking like people see the cNGN as another recipe to salvage the e-Naira thing. What is the cNGN team doing to be able to erase all of that? Because what has happened specifically in the crypto space right now is the lack of trust, which government actually initiated for making the industry look terribly bad, right? But what are this current team doing to make it look like, no, this is not a government initiative, this is a private company trying to make sure that things work out more like the USDT, Theta, and Seco USDC kind of thing. Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. I mean, it's almost like the last question. I think it's for folks asking for, due diligence and all that kind of stuff. So who wants to take that up? I know DJ has spoken a lot, but who wants to jump in?
Yeah, I can chime in. I think any other person can also add. Thank you, Crypto Preacher, for that. So one of the things we are doing is just what we are doing now, right, to clear that, which is this space. We've heard about that, and that is why we are coming out to reach the public, right, to say there's a clear distinction between the e-Naira and the cNGN. Like my colleague
your audio
spoken about. e-Naira is specifically. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, it broke up a bit, but go ahead. Now if you can speak up, that would be wonderful.
Okay. So the e-Naira is specifically or basically a government endeavor, right? It's by the central bank for the country itself on a private blockchain. But the cNGN is a stable coin that is on a public blockchain by a private company. So that is a clear distinction. They both have their the markets they are serving. Then the cNGN, our model currently is it's more of like a wholesale, right, to businesses. That is why we're focused more on companies or organizations or financial institutions or digital exchanges to take this the cNGN from us. That's why it's not everybody that can go to the platform and you register and then you start getting the cNGN. So based on the fact that it's a regulated stablecoin, we are compliant, we have our rules in order for the cNGN to be issued. Then it goes out to the public, and the public makes use of it. The retailers or the individuals that want to make use of it to create solutions that will have to do with maybe payment, or people that want to create solutions that has to do with paying utility bills and all that. That is fine. That's a whole lot of possibilities. We've not even started scratching the surface of the possibilities, although that will not come from us as the issuers, but we believe there are lots of companies out there that have been waiting for solutions like this to create solutions that people can easily start using. Crypto Bridger, have I answered the first question?
I think he's dropped off. Sorry, because we were cycling. But I think it's just more or less knowing the safety mechanism. I guess that's what folks are asking about. But I think good answers so far. Let's get Funsho. Funsho was asked a question way back. Oluwasegun, I see you. I'll add you. No worries. We're just going methodological. Let's get Funsho, then we'll come back to the crypto boys. I know when you guys come, you guys are gonna. So Funsho, you got a question? Funsho Jimo, you got a question? Okay. Oluwasegun, my friend, Kosimani, how are you doing? This is your space. We've got the guys on the Nigerian stable coins here. Do you have a question for them, sir? Oluwasegun?
Yeah, I want to think Funsho is having a network problem. What's up, Kalu? How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing very well, sir. Thanks. Yes, sir.
Congratulations. You eventually brought Deji and Charlie to this place. For about 2 years, I've been hammering you should bring them here.
They're here
I'm
now.
very, very glad.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well done, Kalu. May God bless the work of your hand.
Amen.
Keep it up. Today is not the day for me to express my Bitcoin maximalism because these are my brothers. But I just want to say a few things before I ask my question, before I give the mic to other people, because it's very, very important. Deji, Charles, and the rest of them, who you have spoken, they've done well. But one thing I want to call their attention to is you can hear how people truly want to support you, and they've already started their due diligence trying to scrutinize you. As wonderful well as you guys have done, as I would love to really hype, give a round of applause and say some positive things, and then ask you crucial questions that can help grow, because of course I may not be on the board, but I've been a part of this from day one, day zero. Glory be to God. I would like to say, Charles, Deji, and all the representative of cNGN here, please go to your X profile and go and see how you have not represented cNGN well first. Go and put #cNGN or @cNGN handle on your profile first. Because as a Bitcoiner, I don't trust, I verify. And I love you guys as my brothers. Charles, we spent the year together, 2021 to 2022. So me and you, we are family. Deji's my guy. Anytime I go to Abuja, I got to check him out. Shout out to Sean, Dania, my friend down there, and everybody on the cNGN board. You cannot be representing the first ever stablecoin in Nigeria, and all of you speaking about cNGN don't even have @cNGN or #cNGN on your profile. I speak truth to power and walk away from billions. So I'm not going to say because of my friends, I not tell about the truth. So I'll keep quiet for now. That's what I want to quickly call your attention to, because I'm getting DMs, people that don't want to write under Kalu's comments so they don't mess this all up for you guys and don't start to unnecessarily cause due diligence that is too timely. I think it's too timely for now to start, over scrutinizing cNGN. Paulo Adueno of Tether, the co-founder of USDT, went through a lot of scrutinization from the entire crypto community, Bitcoin community on top of the food chain. That's why he represents a Bitcoiner even more than the Tether co-founder that he is. So please, my guys, all of you representing cNGN, you cannot be profiling yourself without carrying the flag of cNGN, because cNGN is not an automated machine. cNGN is backed by human beings, right? You guys are the ones in charge of cNGN. So put the flag of cNGN on your profile first, the website, the hashtag, so we can know who to pick, who to find, who to blame, who to applaud, first of all. I'll yield my mic, Kalu. That's what I want to call your attention to first, so that everybody who follows you here will be able to, know how to ask you further questions. It's not every time you'll be on Kalu's space. And thank you all for coming to my space the other day, who hosts another space. If I get another opportunity, I will ask them. But Kalu, these are my guys. I trust them until they fail. They say don't trust, but verify. I'm not going to scrutinize them too much until billions and billions and billions of transactions would have been done. My fear is fractional reserve banking. But these are my guys who I trust. I've exchanged money with Deji before. Deji has been there for me before. That's my guy. Charles is my guy. So these guys are not, they run a forensic company. They run a software development company until they prove to us that they are scammers before we start to condemn them. But for now, if we have accepted USDT worldwide, there is no reason to throw away our own Naira. I don't care about the e-Naira, but shout out to cNGN. There's a lot of possibilities. And as a Bitcoiner, I will carry them for my head everywhere. But my guys, don't run away from questions. Start by representing cNGN well and putting on all of your profile. Then we will continue with the due diligence. I hope that's fair.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. And I'm not sure. I'm just a comment for the folks here. Your inside baseball thing. I appreciate the comments. I had a question though, and I know who's going to answer. So it's a stable coin, right? And I know at the very beginning, I did read out that that's sort of the text from the cNGN backed 1-to-1 and all that. So I just want to ask, can you name the bank? You don't have to name the bank per se, but how much treasury bills or bonds, how are you guys, what's backing the stable quote-unquote side of the cNNG? Is it cash? Is it bonds? Is it held in the bank? Who can give us more insight on the other side now, on what's backing the 1-for-1? Do you guys have these funds already curated? Is it in the CBN? Is it in individual banks? Who wants to do me talk around that?
Okay, thank you, Kalu. Shagu, I think you have to give me, I will send my cNGN wallet for you to send me money, because I think when we launch, I have a hashtag cNGN on my Twitter. I don't know if you did check mine. So yeah, but it's taking. I think we love those questions, and just keep them coming. If you strengthen us, we're just starting, and of course, we know that there are a lot of journey ahead of us. So I can't do the Stablecoin is backed by normal Naira. So I give you a simple example. So today you have
Deji. I'm not sure if it's me, Deji, but your audio is kind of cracky. I'm not sure if it's me.
Yes, I noticed that. I noticed that I can't hear you. I was thinking when you.
Okay.
So make my effort.
Okay. So you want to go ahead?
Okay, no,
so maybe we will take that.
Okay, I can take it down.
Okay.
No, thanks for the question, Carlo.
And
thanks for the guidance to the last speaker. So the cNGN is fully backed by Naira and government debt instruments, right? And we have an auditor, we have an appointed custodian from one of the largest banks in Nigeria, and we report are monthly, right, to the SEC, but our reserves and everything are audited monthly, and it's displayed in real time, live on the dashboard on our website. So sort of everybody can see what our reserve positions are. But for the reserve assets, our assets are managed by like a grade AA assets manager by Augusta & Co. And we have an auditor and a custodian. I don't know if that answers the question.
It does. It does a lot. So you have the assets there. It's regulated. It's audited monthly, and it's backed really 1-for-1. And you guys are holding Nigerian or Naira assets to back it up 1-for-1.
Yeah, 100%.
Perfect. Let's get Chimezie Chuta. Chimezie Chuta, you've got the floor. Hey, Chimezie, you've got the floor. If you're not ready, let's get Cryptonomics. Thank you for hopping in here, Cryptonomics.
Thank you, Carlo. In fact, I don't think I have any other question because I've already asked my question. But let it still be that I ask something. So I heard one of the speakers when he spoke about they are still targeting businesses at the moment. So in the future, is there any plan for retail users or small business users? And then for those of us in diaspora, I know how much I spend in bank, charges when I do make a Naira bank-to-bank transfer. So would there be any benefit of using cNGN in terms of reduced transaction fees if I'm sending cNGN to another cNGN wallet? Or like if I want to transfer US dollars, I usually do that using transferring USDT. I know how much I save, in transferring USDT to my family in Nigeria, and they sell and convert it to Naira. So that's the only one I want to ask now. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
No, thank you very much, sir, for that fantastic question. So really our job, in the end, everything we're doing is about regular, everyday Nigerians, right? So even when we say our focus is on businesses, it's still those transactions are done by everyday users, right? Using those businesses, if that makes sense. So our job here is to make sure that businesses, right, fintechs, everybody that can, that sort of manages these systems, can get and, distribute cNGN as cheaply, as easily, and as fast as possible. And that's really the tall task we have to do right now. Really every day our job for the next few months is figuring out how to make sure that when maybe you're in Canada, you're in the UK, wherever you are, or you're even in Nigeria, and you're trying to, buy regular digital assets in Nigeria, or you want to send, money to your family or friends, whatever it is. So our job is really to make sure that end users are able to access cNGN, working closely with our business partners, but making sure that end users are able to access cNGN and NGN transactions as cheaply, as easily, and as quickly as possible. So for us, that's really our focus right now. I'm aware that you can, there are some people building in the community, because cNGN is starting to have an interesting community. There's no blocks. I see some of the stuff they are doing. You can basically now go from, your blockchain wallet, into Naira in 2-3 seconds, right? For 2 Naira, 3 Naira, 5 Naira, those sort of things. So there's a lot of sort of work going on, right? I am aware that some people are building, systems to enable you go from, cNGN to M-Pesa wallets in Kenya, for example. So what that means is you can then functionally be spending Naira, anywhere. You don't have to, if you're traveling to Kenya, you don't have to go and hoard, $10,000 US, $5,000 US because you want to travel. You can just go to your regular bank with your normal Naira and you can spend it there in real time. And those transactions are going 2 seconds, 3 seconds, for like 20 naira, 10 naira in transaction fees. So that's really a lot of the work we are doing, is making sure that end users can ultimately access and use these products as cheaply, as quickly, and as easily as possible. I don't know if that answers the question, sir.
It does, Yo-Yo. It does a lot. I just want to
Thank
add
you very
again.
much.
Yeah, it does. And just getting some questions again. Can you just go over that question I asked at the very, very beginning? How does this, help the average Nigerian business? Like, think of a woman selling soap in Jankara, or someone selling textiles in Kano. How does this really help the efficiency? The cashless. Just give us an example. Make it local. How does it really help businesses in Nigeria? This cNGN, if you may, just go over that. I know you give it at the beginning. Just go over it again, please.
Thank you very much, sir. So I'd say this it would happen in phases, right? I think that's kind of a point that is necessary to make. It would happen in phases. Right now we are in a regulator sandbox, right? And the immediate focus is really proving certain use cases, proving certain functionalities, right? So a lot of the specific use cases for financial inclusion, a lot of those things would come naturally over time, right? But what cNGN is and what stablecoins are in general, they are basically a technology that makes the use and distribution of money, right, as cheap, as efficient, as quick as possible, right? So what that means in practice is you no longer need, for example, 3, 4, 5 intermediaries to settle a transaction between two banks, right? Like in Nigeria today, to settle a transaction between two banks or two financial institutions. I just want to be very clear that cNGN is not, as a stablecoin, is not yet used by banks or anything, and these things will happen in phases. I'm just making a point, stablecoins in general, right? Like in the US or other markets where their regulations are more, developed in some of these payments use cases, you no longer need 3, 4, 5. You don't need to pay 4, 5, 6 intermediaries to settle a transaction, right? So you can pretty much directly go from the end, from the woman in the market paying to the person she wants to pay, right? At the most minimal possible phase, like in ways that the regular system may not be able to accommodate, right? So that's really the core of stablecoins, is that it allows value flow in a way that is more efficient, cheaper, and faster than any other thing we currently have today, right? Anywhere in this world. So what that means in practice is, ultimately, everybody's going to be getting access to easier, cheaper, quicker, systems, right? To move their local value and payments around, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah, it's ultimately get to the woman in Alabama market
eventually. So we're sliding eventually.
Can I chip in here?
Go for
it. If you don't mind. Yeah, thanks so much, you, for pointing that out. I think, again, this is a very good point in the space to speak to developers. If you remember the last time, I made a comment about programmable money, right? I for one, know that there's a lot of innovators in Nigeria, in fintech space, even, generally. What cNGN can do is almost limited by the creativity and innovative mindset of this Nigeria itself, and even Africa. When you talked about the person, the market woman and stuff like that, someone can build a wallet or something that has some escrow system stuff built into it. You can revolutionize how Isusu is currently done, for example. Right? You can revolutionize how.
I like that. I like what you just said now. So if I have 10 people and want to do Isusu, we can do Isusu with eNaira, Abi. Because
not eNaira.
Sorry, with cNGN, we can do that, right? Because it's instantaneous. It's every month. It's programmable.
And exactly. So if you program it right, there's no, you know what in Nigerian parlance, shalaye, when it's time to pay. Money when it's time to pay. We really want developers to come on board and think about what they're able to do. I think I've been in the tech space in Nigeria to know that people are super creative. People talk about tokenization, tokenization of stocks, tokenization of, assets. What if, I'm bound by NDA, so I can say some things, but think about what you're able to create. If you want people that order things, from other markets that maybe erstwhile they needed the USD to do that, we have stable coins, and there's stable coins in some of those markets. Now you don't need USD. You can just buy the cNGN, and if people build more intuitive, market woman friendly solutions, you literally can use your Naira to make orders in those particular places. The issues that you have paying some of your subscription bills, because of limitations on your Naira, someone can easily build a proper Naira virtual card in which all you just need to do is to fund with your Naira. You don't know what happens under the rails. Right? And then you're able to make those settlements. And then the reverse. There's a lot of smart people in Nigeria who can't even get, gigs abroad because of settlement issues, or because, sometimes it's a bit complex. Now, we can expand our gig economy, so to speak, because now, we're, like you said, we're in different phases where people from different parts of the world can literally acquire cNGN just with the same ease that they currently acquire USDT, etc., and they can use that to make payments. Think about a situation where companies can now, do their staff, what they call it, our payroll. They can do that so easily now because, at a particular time of the day, as long as the money is available, it can go to everybody, and you can pay people by hour. You can program, overtime, hours and things like that. We just need creative developers to come on board and speak to us and try to build innovative solutions on this. We can't do everything. The guys at cNGN, they made the infrastructure available, and many of the things that you have, many of the products that you have today that are built on cNGN are built by people who are creative and are trying to make things happen. So I guess maybe that's my addition to what my colleague has already said.
Is there a use for this and music in Nigeria? We have copyright issues. Someone releases an album, it's copyrighted. Is there a way we can tie this into downloading music where musicians are able to get paid digitally via this cNNG? Is there something around that we can build?
Again, remember what I said before, that we are not the ones who are going to build this, but imagine a situation where you're able to stream and pay per second, right? This is just me imagining things. I've not thought about all the nuances. I've not thought about the cons or the inefficiencies that may bring. But I'm just saying that we just have to apply our imagination here. Regardless of what we build, people will always still want to game whatever system or platform you build. So, but again, the onus is not on us to innovate on behalf of people. We have just created this particular tool or infrastructure, so to speak, to say, here you are, here you go. This is programmable Naira. Make it work for the average Joe on the street. The crypto natives already kind of know what they can do with it, right? Some of them already can swap digital assets directly into cNGN and not from. That is already happening. But for the average Joe on the street, the market woman, like you said, the program, the product manager here looking for gigs in Mauritius or the US or somewhere, all of those people build solutions that would enable them to be able to receive payments instantly for their service, so that we can even be more export driven, so to speak. Export service driven. I know we have limitations and challenges with exporting, actual, products and commodities, but at least we can export services, knowing pretty well that you can get your stuff, you can get instant settlement, and stuff like that. So for us, we're not going to be the ones building these things that you said. There might be some of us, that may end up innovating as well and building on top of this. But the mandate of RAP CBDC is to ensure that we're doing this in a consistent and compliant manner. We're making this particular platform available for businesses and technological partners to build on, to change how business is done in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Gotcha.
Okay, excellent response. Let's get Monihin. Did I get that right? Monihin, is that okay? Yeah. Hey, how you doing, sir? Thanks for having me there with me. Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, I'd like to thank the creators of cNGN for the awesome work they are doing. I think this is definitely a way forward for Nigeria and for the blockchain community. One question I just want to ask is regarding the aspect of trust and transparency. I know bits of this has been touched in previous answers to the questions asked before, but I think this is very important because, as we all know, average Nigeria has trust issue, right? And I think the responsibility falls on cNGN to make sure that they're able to help people understand that this platform is going to help them solve a lot of problems in the future. And this applies to developers and their end users eventually. Now, to give example why I'm asking these questions, on your side, you mentioned that you have audits reports being delivered on a daily basis, but I can't really touch on or see anything in that area, the folder seems to be empty for some reason. But I think these are examples where I think it's important for you to be on your A game regarding giving accurate information. Now the numbers with regards to circulations, orders, they're just numbers. For the auditors, if I can get an audit report, that in a way kind of helps me trust the platform, and I can make maybe further investigation and see how I can maybe start working with teams to build something around this. But these first steps are not even made available to me. Then how do I? And this is just me who understand a bit of blockchain. So please, how do you address the issue of trust and transparency? And then you mentioned the word compliance quite a number of times. What does that mean? CNG is compliant. What does that entail? Can you break that down a bit? And so those are my questions.
All right. Again, open question, guys. Did you go for it?
I will take that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will take that. So thank you very much, Monehi. Again, we are barely a month. So normal traditional stable coins they started out with a quarterly report, but we are going to be doing a monthly report. In fact, the auditor is working on it now. We're barely a month. What we're saying is that all the structures have been put in place for transparency. If you check on our page, those numbers are not merely numbers, they are picking them from blockchain. And since you say you understand blockchain, those numbers are immutable. It means they actually happened, and it's pulling it from the blockchain. And if you inquire deeper on that same page, you will see the numbers on each of the protocols that we support, from asset chain to base to every transaction that's happened is that open on that those areas. So we are completely committed to transparency, and we will attend. Now we're about clocking 1 month, and we don't want to go with the style of releasing quarterly auditor report. We want to do it monthly. In fact, we just did the meeting with the auditor today to make sure that goes out, so that you will see it immediately hung on the website, like you did mention. Secondly, I think the second question is about trust. Yeah. I think it's trust.
Yeah, trust. You talked about trust. I think we addressed that a bit.
No, you talk about compliance. You talk about compliance, and what does that mean? Okay, so there have been people that have attempted to do stable coins, but they didn't go through regulators again because it's a bit kind of regulated activities. We do not want to take the route of just going to the market without going to compliance. And again, like I mentioned, we are very big in compliance and around crypto risk and all that. And so for us, we are starting up with merchants and merchants that are regulated. So it means for you to uptake cNGN, you ask what that compliance meant. For you to uptake cNGN, you have to be, one, a regulated entity. It means we are distributing it from a regulated entity. So today, we have started with entities like Quidax, who are also SEC-regulated. We've started with entities like Busha, who are also today regulated. If we move to fintechs, we must have a CBN or one other license that you have to be able to come to us. We want to know who are the initial uptakers of these tokens are, and that's what that compliance meant. So, but of course, retail customers will go and there will be a lot of people that will also uptake it, make it available to every other person, and it will distribute like that. But the source is that you have to be a regulated business, you have to be registered for you to be able to actually uptake it in that larger wholesale quantity.
Okay, all right. Mohim, thanks for that. Let's get James Hillary Consult. Hi, sir. Thanks for hanging in there.
Thanks, Carlo. My name is James Hillary. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. I work with the Capital Markets Authority, and I have to say that.
Did I lose James? Did I lose you?
Around virtual assets, and one of the very pertinent and key issues that we've been discussing a lot actually is stablecoins. I was also in a meeting the other week. Rwanda is also coming up with a regulation, and stablecoins also was a very pertinent issue that was raised. And for the cNGN team, I just want to inquire, what was the rationale of the Central Bank of Nigeria to refer you guys to SEC? Because that will actually go a long way, and especially in Kenya, as that will shape our discussion. As at now, many people are of the opinion that stablecoin should be under the central bank, while it's evident from these discussions that it falls under the capital market space. So just a clarification actually for understandability and perspective. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for coming on. So what I would say, hello, Kalu, am I on?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Oh, okay, clear. Okay, so what I would say, sir, is I think there's no finality in my view to that. As early as yesterday or so, I was at the central bank on this same discussion. So I think the central bank is working on a framework, and I think it's in their wisdom not to hold us down, to say, okay, go to the people that will regulate digital assets, so that we can get sort of something moving. If you note, we are in the regulatory sandbox to test the model, and again, the two regulators are talking to themselves, and I want to believe there will be some kind of handshake before, maybe later or maybe not, depending. And I will say this is not finality, but for now, the way it stands is that we are with the SEC, and they are also talking together. But again, if there are questions from the CBN, we said we also go to attend to those questions and see if we can help as they do their framework to make sure that this works properly. Where most people will have also learned from will have been the US, but they are just still doing just the framework currently. So I don't think it's a finality to say obviously it's directly under SEC, but for today, so it depends. Even the stablecoin has different variants. So today we started up with what we call a stablecoin that we use the money market fund to back it, which is directly under the SEC to regulate. But we know naturally that the whole stablecoin journey will metamorphose into payments and rails and cross-border and all those issues that somehow within the purview of central bank. But whatever framework eventually comes up, we will also key in properly. But today that's the regulatory situation as it stands.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, sir. But just to kind of...
Go ahead.
Okay. So I just wanted to add like a bit. So our position really, again, we can't speak for the regulators. Our position is we are a token issuer, right? And just like any other token, right? And that's how different entities sort of interact with those tokens and use them really depends on those entities and their regulators, right? But broadly speaking, we're just a token issuer, and that falls on the SEC at the moment.
Okay, fantastic. Let me see if Funsho is available to speak now. Funsho Jimo, do we have you? All right, Funsho, whilst to get that, so let's get Ugochukwu Aronu. Ugochukwu? All right, Ugochukwu, let's get Sheyi.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, so my name is Ugochukwu, co-founder of Asset Chain. I know Deji and the rest of the cNGN team is speaking about, blockchain supporting cNGN. And yeah, we're from Asset Chain. We built a layer 1 blockchain, from Nigeria. We've been able to support cNGN on our private mainnet. Public mainnet should be out in a few weeks. But yeah, something I just really wanted to comment on is, when a lot of people talk about adoption, I think the cNGN team has done a fantastic job being able to create this. When you look at something like Tether, that's the USDT, you see that Tether actually became really huge from early days of DeFi. That's like decentralized financial protocols, right? Like Uniswap, Aave, Compound Finance, Yen Finance. You could earn yield from stable coins, right? Like USDT. And I think it's now on us to build very good DeFi protocols that would allow cNGN gain massive adoption. At this point, I don't really look at it from the perspective of the everyday consumer, maybe like someone entering bike or something. I think that's still some maybe months away, maybe years away. I think first is for people who understand crypto. I think it's from the known to the unknown, right? From the guys that understand crypto first, to deal with it, to use it in different systems and to derive value from it. Someone here was speaking about what's it called? Tokenization of assets, right? There are different things that can be tokenized. I mean, we have our money market. We have things that earn yield, right, at scale with our current Nigerian naira. I think bringing a lot of these assets on chain is a big deal. And at this point, you don't necessarily need the regulators that much. I mean, you can break things. Maybe the regulators now come for you. That's okay. But the cNGN guys have done a lot already with breaking or surpassing the first regulatory hurdle. It's now for people to innovate and build around cNGN and create reasons why people should use it. Some weeks ago, someone was talking about, building a system that would convert their USDT to Naira in a couple of minutes, an automated system. And when I looked at the system, I commented on it. It had some, not flaws that were caused by the person, but flaws that were caused by the traditional financial system, which is connecting to banking APIs and all that. But with cNGN, all those flaws are removed instantly. You don't need to connect to an API because everything is going to happen instantly, right? If you're connecting to a liquidity pool in a DEX. Now, some of the things I might be saying might be quite strange for people who don't understand crypto, but for people who get crypto, they will know that, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. And these are supposed to be the real off-takers, right? And then the corporates, the guys that trade maybe in our Nigerian stock exchange and all that. Because if they see that, oh, wow, there is liquidity when, let's say, cNGN, and people are tapping into it. Maybe there is, a pool that trades cNGN USDT, and they don't have restrictions like markets that are open on Monday and close on Fridays. They know that these markets are open 24/7. They can plug into that market, trade even weekends, and derive value. These are the kind of people that we need to also build for, right? So I think the whole cNGN adoption is a no-brainer. We just need builders, just like early days of DeFi, 2017, 2018. We need to now build on DeFi, build a lot of DeFi protocols that leverage cNGN. Already, there are some companies already building that on our blockchain, right? And we're pushing them really hard because we've seen that it's a product that nobody else has. And everybody wants more money. I'll give you an example. People still invest in unstable currency. I know people will be like, Naira is not the US dollar. Yes, I agree. But if you tell someone that they can earn, let's say, 20% APR in Naira, or 25% or 30% APR in Naira. And then the person will probably earn 5% in USD. A lot of people might understand that there's still the risk, right? That Naira is quite unstable, but they will still allocate a certain part of their assets to that Naira because they know that they can earn a huge amount of yield on it. And it's possible. I mean, some systems already even pay huge amounts, right? So why don't we now leverage some systems like that and bring those assets on chain and allow people earn interests that are really high? And you see guys converting their USDT to cNGN to earn those interests, right? That's the truth. A lot of people will do that. Okay. They might not convert their entire portfolio, but they might convert a few. So these are just a few points I wanted to point out. But I think what the cNGN guys have done is really great. And I would love to call on innovators and developers to build more DeFi protocols to leverage cNGN. Thank you.
I think it's an excellent question. Before you guys answer, I was going to ask that question if it was possible to stake or if it was too early to talk about staking of the cNNG. If I can put Naira in the bank and earn interest and it is 1-for-1, should I also be able to put my cNGN, stake it, and also earn interest? But let me let you guys speak. I've got you guys are all here. Please go ahead.
Let me quickly jump in, Kano. So yes. Now, these are products that can actually be created. I think we've seen a lot of DeFi products, right, that actually created such solutions with high yields and all that. And the beauty about this now is it's more, say it's like you taking a loan business online or on chain. Say people want to, people already having digital assets like Bitcoin. They are storing it or they are holding it as a store of value and all that. Now with such digital assets and with a solution like cNGN, products like loan can actually be created whereby you deposit the digital asset like Bitcoin or any other asset that you're holding, and you collect your loan in even cNGN. All right, so that is one very big use case that people can actually build on. Then secondly, one of the things we also did to help developers and help businesses that we'll be integrating is we have what we call a library, like an XDK, where as you as a company that is integrating, that's if you're a merchant with us, you can easily integrate that library, be able to create wallets seamlessly, that's crypto wallets. You'll be able to swap. So in the crypto space or stablecoin, there's what we call liquidity fragmentation, right? So you have, let's say, cNGN on one chain, and you want to send a user cNGN on another chain. Now, what we did was to create a bridge system whereby you can easily do the bridging. As you send, you can still send your cNGN that you have on a particular chain to the chain of the recipients, right? So that's a bridging system. So this is just to make it easier that you are not locked in on just one chain that the cNGN system supports, right? You can actually make use of it on all the whole chain that the cNGN supports. So there are a whole lot that can be built around this. DeFi products can come in and create whatever they need to create. There's a whole lot of possibilities. So this, like Victor said earlier, is Naira on steroid, that anybody that wants to create innovative product can actually run it.
All right. So just want to be clear. So it's possible, it's in the pipeline for staking. Like if I want to stake cNGN, it's possible. Because if I take my money out of fixed deposits, I want to make sure I can also earn some money. Is that also in the pipeline?
Yeah, not for us, issuers, right? But yes, I know some other people already.
No, we have it on event finance. Okay, go on.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's what I mentioned earlier on the asset chain mainnet coming out in a few weeks. It's already live. It's going to be live for everybody to deposit cNGN and any yield. Yeah.
So on where again, please?
on Asset Chain. It's we're going to announce it. It's on our blockchain, right? We have DeFi protocols launching on Asset Chain. Yes, so you can deposit cNGN. Yes.
Okay, and very important to know that. Okay, perfect. Let's get Sheyi. I've got Sheyi here. He's work crypt. I can see that. Sheyi, can you hear me? Sheyi's just on. So Calabar Bitcoin Club. How are you guys doing in Calabar? Calabar Bitcoin Club. Sheyi's just getting ready to speak. Calabar Bitcoin Club, you got the floor. Go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is James Otudo. I'm from Calabar. I wish I was here on my handle. But I'm the founder of Calabar Bitcoin Club. And whatever I say here is my view. Actually, I'm not that of Calabar Bitcoin Club. First of all, I would really love to commend the team behind cNGN. I've been asking these questions back and forth, when Bitcoin. I'm a Bitcoiner foremost. And I would love to ask some specific questions. And first of all, when are we seeing cNGN or Bitcoin network? That's the first question. Is anybody saying anything?
I can hear you. You are asking when you asked a question. Yeah, go ahead. Is that the question?
Yeah. I thought someone was saying something. Okay, so to go ahead, we have been saying this is Naira on steroids, right? Naira on steroids. And for me, I think that's a very, very bad slogan because practically only patriotic people want the Naira, right? Only patriotic people want the Naira. So I think we should keep out the Naira on steroids because when you say Naira on steroids, you mean inflation on steroids, you mean lots of things on steroids, of which we don't want. And also, I want somebody asked this question, but it was not answered explicitly, and I just wish more light could be thrown on it. Now, when you say reports, you're reporting back to the SEC. I will understand. I stand to be corrected that cNGN is a security because it's a single issuer, right? Which means that there's a lot. It has a lot to do with the SEC and the CBN and all of that. Are we safe? If I want to do transactions right now on USDT, I can't touch USDT for my own personal use, except maybe for compliance reasons. I want to do stuff for businesses and all of that. But I can't touch USDT because I know I'm not safe, and I know my USDT, my funds can be seized. I know I can be frozen, all of that kind of stuff. Now, when you guys keep using the word reports back. What is the scope of reporting back to SEC? Are we safe? If I get involved in a protest against bad governance, in a protest against, look, I'm still suffering from, I'm in court with the federal government right now. A lot of people know, and I'm challenging the government, reasons for blocking Nigerians having access to, a lot of exchanges and all of that. I mean, that story broke the news. But the question is, if I use cNGN as a Nigerian, am I safe? Or do I, have to look out for other things? That's why I keep asking why on Bitcoin. And lastly, what are the fees? I mean, can we know what the fees are? cNGN to cNGN to other blockchains, and all of that. So, very importantly also, who are the founders of cNGN? Like Olu said earlier, I'd love to see. I'm proudly Nigerian, no doubt, and I was very happy when cNGN came on, But I would love to know who are the founders of cNGN. What's their background story? What's their business record? What are we safe? In the whole cNGN stuff that is coming up right now. And I'll use my mic for that for now.
Okay, I'm sure they're going to come and really give you a good answer. I've also just shared a little write-up on cNNG, Nigeria's first regular stablecoin. There are 3 developers I see here: Wopsy BDC Limited, in collaboration with Convexity, Interstellar, and Alpha Geeks Tech. Maybe they'll tell you more, but I've just shared that in case folks want to also Google them to know who about it. But I think those are excellent questions, even though they've been asked before, but excellent questions. So whoever wants to address those concerns can, please.
Okay, so I will just go. Thank you, Bitcoin Calabar. Is it Uyo or Calabar now? Yeah.
Calabar, please.
Okay, Calabar Bitcoin. Okay, yes, sir. So great. Again, just to start, we are all Bitcoiners, right? Everybody coming to this space his grandfather is Bitcoin, and so we are fine, and we're working with everyone to make sure Bitcoin. We're talking with the Lightning Lab to see what can happen with cNGN on Lightning Network, and that talk is going on. And let's see how it goes. It's just that there's a lot of work to be done, and we are just starting, just barely a month. But I can tell you that the future is bright. Again, to address the question whether you are safe, I think you're completely safe. But I will put a caveat that cNGN is used for legitimate purposes. So if cNGN is involved in money laundering, in terror financing, and all those issues, we will completely also be able to use some other innovative compliance tools to make sure that, and this is not us the issuers, but everybody that is taking it. So take, for example, on a QuiDAX, for example, if you are going there, you will be able to do your compliance. But people have it today. As I speak to you today, you can go swap cNGN on Pancake. Those, you are as good as safe in that direction, in my view. Which one is the last question again? Who are the guys behind it? So the companies behind it are three. Convexity, we started the project, and I'm one of the co-founders of Convexity. And Convexity, we have a lot of things we've been doing within the space. We are very serious pioneers within a lot of corporate blockchain use. We have been on the forefront, like you, fighting for things that doesn't make any sense to change for the generality of the young Nigerians to take opportunity of what the blockchain have got to offer to make some economic benefit out of it. And so we've been in the forefront of educating. So we've been educating, we've been talking with policymakers. We are not running away and fighting them from a distance. We are within and talking to them on why they have to do it, because we think that is how it has to work. We've been involved internationally to work to see how the frameworks globally aligns, and we're working to help to make sure that aligns. And for us, we are involved with building technologies around blockchain. We supported companies that are building it, and we're building ourselves and changing a lot of direction. That's for Convexity. Interstellar is currently they are the builders of Bantu blockchain, and also working on the Pan-African payment settlement system to make sure that the African countries is not dollarized, and we'll be able to trade among ourselves with our local currencies, and they're working with Afrexim on that. And so it is a company with high reputation. AlphaGig is a tech company that does a lot of things around Web3, build solutions and all that. So we are the one, and with a lot of partnership with few other companies that are supporting in different segments to make sure that the cNGN stablecoin comes in a very regulated compliance and more serious stablecoin that can be very confident for people to actually use freely.
Let me jump in on the reporting, right? So you asked Calabar Bitcoin that what is being reported. So it's out there in terms of reporting. We have some of it on our site currently, like amount being minted, what is being minted, right? The exchanges that are off-taking and all that. So these are regulated. These are kind of reports drawn from a project by the Bank of International Settlement. I think they call that project the PIX trial, that states the kind of reporting that should be going to regulators when it comes to stablecoin. So we already have that model before the Bank of International Settlement came up with such a project. So it's not like we don't have data of the individuals, right? Retailers and all those stuff. That is left for the merchants that are uptaking. But for us, the reporting is the numbers in circulation, what is in circulation for us, trading volume and things like that is what that are contained in a report, which are also visible. Some of them are visible on our site if you go to our site.
Fantastic, guys. All right, guys. Hey, believe it or not, guys, we've spent some time here learning from you folks. We've done about 2 hours in. I gotta let folks go to bed. So we've got 3 guys I want to speak. D, unsatisfied, and I believe there is a third one, Bitcoin. We're going to let all 3 speak so that we can just take closing remarks. This is a session for us to learn. You know, we've allowed you guys to basically talk. I want to learn more about this because it's all new. In the US, I heard about the Genius Act. They're also doing their own thing over there to bring about the digital dollar, the CNBD and all that. So the world is changing and we have to, adapt to what is going to happen. We can't stay still. We can't say we're going to use fiat or Bitcoin is a scam. We can't just keep on saying that. We've got to understand what's happening so we can position our portfolios and even our companies to what is going to happen, because clearly a change is going to happen in the way we settle payments internationally and even locally. So the better we are informed, I think the better it is for us. So let's just get DV_NMD. You're going to be first, then we'll take the other 2, and then we'll just sort of do vote of thanks by the folks that have been here. So go ahead, sir. You've got the floor.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Kalu Aja, for the wonderful opportunity to talk. I want to say very big kudos to the cNGN team, and most especially to Charles. I think I met Charles 2022 in CDN Inner Hackathon. I'm happy that he has come up with this team, an innovative idea that will transform the ecosystem. So I'm very curious because in that hackathon, we came up with an idea that the then leadership of CBM decided to support. We participated in the incubation program and we launched our product using the eNaira. But right now, I can't really say anything about the eNaira. So my question is, how will cNGN coexist with eNaira? Right? We know that eNaira was meant to address the issues of financial inclusion, because then we were building a financial inclusion solution that will enable anybody to seamlessly provide value to unbanked people. Right? So you have an auntie in the village, you could seamlessly use our solution to transfer value from your eNaira wallet to the person's phone number. A unique idea, and that really scaled, and then we got into that incubation program. But because of, I don't really know what happened, I can't really say anything about the eNaira right now. So I'm curious because this is another stable coin launched kind of by regulated entities. So what will happen? How is it going to coexist with the eNaira? Then secondly, I think I like Ugochukwu's take on programmable money, how we can actually provide programmatically yield mechanisms, right, for people to utilize the cNGN, stake it or put it in EVA protocol to kind of yield some earnings from that. So I'm trying to ask, what are the plans for, because we have a lot of chains right now. We have so many chains coming up, apart from asset chain and base. I think I heard that at some point. What are the plans to kind of support more chains and make it interoperable for people to, within one chain, bridge to another chain and make it kind of seamless for people to actually access the possibilities of the eNaira regardless of the chain they are on. So these are the questions that I need clarification. I think anybody can actually throw more light on this. Thank you so much, and kudos especially to the Conversity team. Yeah, thanks.
Brilliant. You want to take that? Thank you, sir, for that.
Thank you very much. So for that platform you built, I would say all you need is what Charles mentioned, to just reach out so we can give you our SDK and library for you to make sure that what eNaira does on your application, you can actually enable cNGN to perform that for you. Whatever the eNaira thing, maybe if the central bank come up with it again and all that, it's simply just the same, just residing on different rails. So you can take a cNGN to those DeFi protocols. You cannot take an INARA there because, like I mentioned, that is a private blockchain. They don't interoperate within those ecosystems. So it depends on which network you actually want to use to power your solution. And I think most people are moving to Web3. Most people are moving to blockchain. And I think it's good that you integrate that SDK into the system. I think my other colleague will take the second question.
Okay. Who's going to hop on that? Should we move on?
What was the question again, Carlo?
DMW. Did you want to have a second question?
Yeah, okay, I was talking about programmable money, and I think you have clarified already. I think we opened communication channel with Conversity team, which I also think we'll take it on from there because I'm happy this is kind of like live now. So I think last year, January, we were in contact. We created the WhatsApp chat where we were talking about possible integration of cNGN. But I think with it live now, I think we can actually continue that conversation on that WhatsApp group. So yeah, so the second question was the possibility of integrating multiple chains so that to address the issues of liquidity fragmentation, right? So it's on this chain, it's not on this chain. So this kind of thing. So how do you, I know you guys started not quite long. So what are the long-term plans to address this issue?
Okay, I think the protocols we have, I think we have moved faster, and I think it's because of demands. Most stablecoin projects will possibly start, and they will be on one chain, and it take longer time for them to integrate because of cost and of course engineering requirements. But today, as it stands, we are on almost 7 very popular protocols, and many people are asking. I think in the next few weeks, we should be also going live on Tron and Solana. We're currently on Ethereum, Polygon, Base Network, Binance Smart Chain, Asset Chain, Band2. So there's a lot of chains. And so again, we have built a multi-chain transfer protocol to make sure that people can easily move between chains. So I think we have done that within a month that we're launching. But again, a lot will come to just answer what you said here.
Perfect. Love it. Okay, let's get on Satisfied. You've got the floor, so Satisfied Legend.
All right, GM everybody, GM my brothers, my sisters and the audience. I am also Satisfied Legend. Yeah, indeed, I want to give appreciation to the cNGN team for coming up with something like this. In the Web3 space, it's not like people kind of hide their identities in this Web3 space mostly. Some of you in diaspora, you guys might have had experiences of racism and the rest of it. So you guys coming up and proudly coming out to do something for the country, do something for us is something I really do appreciate. The stable coin backed with Naira is something amazing. There's no difference between Naira and dollar, just different price tags that we confuse ourselves with. So I want to ask a few questions. First of all is, just as you guys talked about programmability, that is builders coming up to build something with cNGN. How programmable is this cNGN? Like, when I want to make maybe an app, a payment system, a lending and borrowing protocol, etc., or anything, how easily can I be able to integrate this cNGN on chain? Not just like Pampe or other banks. Like, how can is it the possibility of me doing things and it is verifiable on chain, just like the way I can verify a USDT transaction? And also, startups who may not be funded enough to, run the business or do stuff, the way, are they really welcomed, or, is it when you want to start your video, you just run on your own? You are not in any way affiliated to cNGN. Yes, I know that very much, but then most of us as developers, we are not so funded as, we might have the product, but we might not have the funding. What are the possible ways of support or integration? And then about peer-to-peer, if if I should mint a cNGN token, the easy, that is the ease I have to reconvert it back to Naira. As in, if I should mint it, after I do whatever I want to do on other chains, like if I should mint it, I want to trade a coin, etc. And after I'm done, the ability of me bringing it back to Naira again, how feasible is that? And then the on-chain metric, just like I have highlighted earlier, especially about this trust and security. Some people come up with very good projects, and at the end, they get to wreck those who trusted in them. Something like these audits or stores, the way we can track and check, yes, that these people actually did this audit, or these people actually have passed these processes, and many more. And then about integration with ecosystems, I'm a developer coming from the Stars blockchain, Stars the Living Bitcoin layer 2. So hoping to see cNGN on the Bitcoin network, at least via Stars. So how okay, I know that you guys are working on it, just like you have highlighted with Tron and Solana very soon. I would suggest you guys also come to Stacks. I would really appreciate bringing cNGN, using cNGN to get a Stacks token and run my own products. That's the few questions I have.
Thank you very much. So you can see that the chains are unlimited. But again, like we say, we want it to be everywhere. So it should be everywhere. Every blockchain we should be able to have cNGN with time. But again, like I said, we're just 1 month old, and we'll try as much as possible to accommodate. How easy can you integrate? I would say as easy as switching off a light bulb. Just click. With our SDK, with our libraries, a lot of people are doing activities with it. People are integrating very similar. We make it very detailed, very self-explanatory, and as developers, you can actually quickly just integrate it. We currently support few chains, but we'll be adding, like you know, as the time goes on. Do developers don't have funds? Again, we are also just starting up, but again, we are open to supporting very innovative solutions to make sure that those solutions build fantastic use cases that will push the adoption further. For me, I think those are the questions I was able to pick. Any other thing that I'm leaving out?
No, I think the last thing was how do you go from cNGN to NGN? So basically the off-ramps. Okay. So yesterday, just as an example, yesterday I moved about 50,000 from my Trust Wallet cNGN. And what is the purpose of moving it? I want to send 50,000 to somebody's UBA account. So the person say, "Oh, I want you to send me this money." And what I had with me at that point was a cNGN in Trust Wallet. So what I did, if you remember when we were speaking, he said there are people building innovative solution to enable seamless few seconds off ramp. As a matter of fact, 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, your money is in the bank. So what I did was just to collect the person's account number, send that money to NoBlocks. NoBlocks are some young innovator that just built something some weeks back. And just put in the account number, and before you say it, few seconds with the person, and the person confirmed. So that's how easy and how seamless it is. So I want to see a lot of solutions around that line to make it very easy for people to move from those cNGN in different networks in Stack, like you mentioned, to anything to bank account in a matter of just few seconds, really.
Okay, looks good. Thanks, I'm satisfied. I appreciate that. And the last guy to speak here is going to be Bitcoin Blaze, Cape Town. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kalu. Thank you, cNGN team. So I just want to quickly ask here, are there any ways where we can transparently verify if there isn't, like what you guys do is there are ways to verify that you guys are not practicing the fractional reserve policy? And also, I would like to ask, like, okay, are there plans where someone can actually send BTC and a woman in Anonitsha main markets can actually receive cNGN or Naira equivalent when you send BTC? Like, are there plans for that? So, yes, thank you.
All right, excellent.
Thanks very much. So, again, being sort of regulated means there are very, very high reserve standards for us, right? So what that means is, literally speaking, every single cNGN is backed to the last kobo. We are audited. We have like a custodian. We have assets manager. So it's a whole very robust process. I think that's really the point of running with regulated products, is that they are very, again, I mean this, it's unbelievably high standards for our reserve backing, right? For B2C to cNGN off-ramps, again, a lot of these things really would depend on builders like yourself, right? Within the B2C ecosystem. You people are the geniuses that understand that ecosystem. And to the level that cNGN is integrated, depend on builders like yourself. For us, we are very open, to anything that moves Tinubu forward, moves Nigeria forward, allows Nigerians and just Africans in general participate more in the digital asset ecosystem, right?
Oh, your audio is breaking up real bad.
Oh, apologies.
Yeah, but
I think he has made all the points, really.
Gotcha. All right, folks, let me just get you guys to sort of give us, closing remarks. You guys sent me a very, very interesting data point. I have them all here. I'm going to try to share as much as you guys allow me to share. But let's have closing remarks from you folks. I think most of us here are not crypto or even, IT people, but we like what we're hearing, I like the fact that we are sort of keeping pace with what's happening. Like it or not, if eNaira had worked, this would have been a better, pill to swallow. eNaira didn't really work. You guys are doing it a little bit better. You've gotten the SEC behind you. I like that a lot. And you are just starting. You've done all this, and this is just March. Like you said, in February, and you have achieved all this. So I would just say keep at it, keep really at it. We need this now for, the efficiency of payments in Nigeria. We all saw what happened about 2 years ago. So perhaps if this is there and more folks start to build on it, then we can really have something that even Africans can then take from us and adopt. I hear the comments about exchange from dollar to Naira, but I think the real focus really should be on the efficiency locally. If we can stop the use of cash because it's not safe, and we can make this payment via cNNG, we have achieved something. If we can do cNNG and invest in cNNG and get returns, i.e. staking, we've done something really a lot. If we can get the market women, the kids out there that want to pay for jam, want to buy music, to use this. Even taxes, you want to pay your tax. Can you pay your tax to Lagos State, Abia State, all these other states using this? Can we get even allocations, paid fair salaries to folks? Because if you pay the poverty payments through this, you can track it, you can remove the waste and fraud, because then you can know who is receiving it. It's going to a specified wallet or phone or whatever. So it's you remove waste and fraud. So I like what I'm hearing, and I want to tell you guys I'm a friend. If you guys have more stuff you want to share even after the space, please feel free to come back and do that. I can also disseminate that. But let me give you guys the floor to give your closing remarks, whoever wants to do that, and then we'll just call it a day. Thank you so much, guys. I've really enjoyed the session with you guys. So it's back to you guys now.
No, thank you very much. Very, very grateful that you picked an interest in this and you set this up for the community. Even for us, it's been very helpful, just to listen directly, and that's really what we're here for. Again, we are accessible, really just to get as many people as possible, to build on this, right? Because the success would really depend on the community, right? And the ingenious of Nigerians, right, and the builders in the ecosystem. So yeah, we really, really implore everybody, please reach out to us. Let's build together. Kind of leave the floor open to anyone else. But thank you. Yeah, please let's build. Let's build.
Perfect.
Please reach out to us.
All right, guys. Anyone wants to say anything else?
Nothing more.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, thank you. I would love to have access to the SDK, and at least maybe one of the Explorer links is a cNGN transaction. I'd love to play around with it. I'm making a trade right now.
Okay. All right, got you guys. So, guys, if that's where we are right now, of course, I want to make sure this is recorded. It's going to be shared after the space, so you guys can go back and follow up on what we've heard. The handles are all in there for you guys to follow. Ask, learn. That's the whole idea of the spaces. We want to bring in folks that know what they're talking about, teach us stuff, and then of course we can become better investors of our money. We didn't get to Genius Act, right? We tried to keep it very, very local, but that's going to have a big impact, I believe, into what we're doing in Nigeria as well. Once the US basically signs off on crypto, on stable coins, there's going to be adoption across the world. Whether we like it or not, we're now part of the world. So we also have got to respond. So this is very, very good. The young folks in Nigeria stepping up again to create an industry. Nollywood was created outside the government. This is also going to be something big. 10 years, we're going to say, wow, remember when we're starting this NGX and it was all this and that. Now it's really big. We have built this on top of it, and we're creating jobs, efficiency, and revenues for the Nigerian state. So I thank you guys for doing this. Good job. Keep at it. And again, guys, we'll come back here next week to talk again about something that's about the economy, personal finance, and of course, investing. And I hope you guys will join us. My name is Kalu Aja. See you guys then. Have a good one, and bye.
Bye-bye, Kalu. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.